प्रसीद प्रसीद मातः जगतोऽखिलस्य प्रसीद विश्वेश्वरि पाहि विश्वं त्वमीश्वरी देवी चराचरस्य त्वं वैष्णवी शक्तिरनन्तवीर्या विश्वस्य बीजं परमासि माया सम्मोहितं देवि समस्तमेतत् त्वं वै प्रसन्ना भुवि मुक्तिहेतुः।
Om Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Sri Matre Namaha. We continue with Devi Mahatmyam. We finished the chapter 6, and now in this talk we will deal with chapter 7 and chapter 8, the story of slaying of Raktabeej by Devi. And this is all a part of the Uttama Charitra in Devi Mahatmyam. Here begins the 7th chapter, and the enlightened Rishi said, in compliance with the command of the mighty Asura king, 4 divisions of the army of Rakshasas were sent forth. They were all well adorned with various weapons and armor. Then they saw Devi sitting on her lion on the great golden peak of the Himalayas and smiling benevolently. Seeing her thus, these Rakshasas made ready to capture her. Some took up their bows, some raised their swords, and some collected or gathered around Devi and began to fight. Then the Mother of the Universe became very angry with those Rakshasas who were attacking her, and her face turned dark with rage. This beautiful and mighty Devi frowned with rage, and from that frown, from in between the eyebrows, there came surfaced Kali. So Kali manifested with her dreadful face, holding a sword and a net in her hands. Mother Kali carried a strange skull-topped staff and wore a leopard skin garment and a garland of human skulls. Her flesh had withered, and she appeared as a skeleton of bones, and very gruesome she looked. Her mouth was enormous, and she looked terrifying with her lolling tongue and with her sunken, reddened eyes. She started roaring, and her fearful roar was echoing in all directions. Then this Mother Kali, who is the remover of darkness, killed many of these Rakshasas and fell upon the army in great haste. She began to devour them all. She picked up the mighty elephants with one hand and hurled them into her mouth together with their protectors. She devoured them together, the protectors, the elephants, the driver with goat, the soldiers and the bells, everything included. Likewise, Mother Kali took warriors, horses, chariots with their charioteers, the entire cavalry of Rakshasas, and put them into her mouth and hideously began to grind and crush them with her teeth. Some Rakshasas, she seized them by the hair, others she crushed them at the throat, still others she trampled them by her feet, and still others she killed them by a blow to the chest. The many weapons and missiles that were hurled by these demons were seized with her mouth, and in fearful anger she pulverized them with her teeth. This Mother Kali, the remover of all darkness, trampled that entire army of mighty and wicked Rakshasas, and devoured some, and others she fiercely thrashed them. This Mother Kali, the remover of the darkness and the ignorance, she killed some by the blade of her sword, others she pounded them with her skull-topped staff, and still others were crushed to death by her frontal teeth. In this way, the entire army of Shumbha was annihilated in a moment by Mother Kali. Seeing this, the commander-in-chief rushed forth to attack that excessively fearsome Kali, the remover of darkness. And also this great Asura Munda rained his extremely lethal arrows and hurled discuses by the thousand against the fearful-eyed goddess. Those discuses which were thrown by Munda and were entering into her mouth resembled a multitude of suns enveloped by many clouds. Then Devi, mounting upon her great lion, seized Chanda by the hair, and with her big sword she cut off his head. Seeing this, Kali, the remover of darkness, gave a fearful roar, filled with rage, and laughed furiously, her teeth radiantly gleaming in her dreadful mouth, assigning brilliance to her appearance. Seeing the death of Chanda, Munda rushed at her. Then in terrible rage, he tried to wound her with his sword. Then Mother Kali wounded him and laid him to rest on the ground. On seeing the death of the greatly valiant Chanda and Munda, the two great warriors, the remaining army has overcome with fear and ran away in all directions. Thereafter, Mother Kali, the remover of darkness, took the heads of Chanda and Munda in her hands and brought them to Chandika and spoke to her with a great laughter. Mother Kali said, "O great Devi, I present to you these two great beasts, Chanda and Munda. Now in the battle of sacrifice, you yourself will kill Shumbha and Nishumbha." Seeing the severed heads of the two Asuras, Chanda and Munda, Mother Chandika, who is the goddess of welfare of the whole of creation, spoke in sweet words to Mother Kali, the remover of darkness and ignorance. "O Devi Kalika, since you have brought me the heads of Chanda and Munda, Henceforth you will be known in all the worlds as Chamunda. And here is the conclusion of the 7th chapter, named Chanda Munda Vadha, from Devi Mahatmyam in Savarnika Manvantara in Markandeya Purana. Now we continue with the 8th chapter, which deals with the slaying of the Raktabeej. When the mighty king of the Rakshasas, Shumbha, became aware of the demise of Chanda and Munda and the annihilation of all the armies that went with them, he became excessively angry and informed the next in command to Shumbha and commanded the entire army to martial out. He told his army to let all their thoughts of strength arise and to let 86 great warriors, who are the Rakshasas and the plunderers of peace, hold their weapons, and 84 great generals who have no restraint in destroying everything that is peaceful, assemble together and go forth with all their forces. He further ordered 50 heroic commanders who belonged to a royal bred family and who are bent to bring about destruction, and to another 100 belonging to a family of vices, and he asked them all to proceed at his command. And he further said, Kalak, Dauharta, Maurya, and Kalakeya, you gear up for war and immediately march off at my command. Having commanded thus, this fearful king, Shumbha, the terrible ruler of these asuras, set forth to battle accompanied by thousands of warriors. Now Devi, on seeing the approach of this terrible army, this Devi, who is capable of tearing apart all the Rakshasas in the world, she made the twang of her bowstring fill the space between the earth and sky. The sound of this twang of her bow filled the space between the earth and the sky. Then the great lion of this Devi began to roar very loudly and monstrously, and then the Mother of Universe augmented the noise still further with the sound of her bell. The twang of her bowstring, the roar of the lion, the sound of the bell echoed in all directions. And from the enlarged, huge mouth of the remover of darkness, Mother Kali, came a gruesome sound even greater than the others. Now, having heard this tumultuous sound, the great din, the warriors in the army of Shumbha rose with great anger and started surrounding Devi, the lion, and also Mother Kali, the remover of darkness. Devi, at that very moment, in order to destroy the Rakshasas and to elevate the gods back to heaven, sprang forth the energies from the bodies of Brahma, Shiva, Vishnu, and also from Indra and other devas in original forms, which encapsulated extreme valor and tremendous strength, and these forms joined forces in the battle with this mighty Devi who tears apart the demons. So the Shaktis of these gods and the Devas all came into the battlefield. Whatever form, dress and ornaments and mount a particular god possessed, in that same appearance their Shakti came forth to fight in the war with the thoughts. So all the Shaktis joined this Shakti. Seated upon an air carrier yoked to the swans with a japamala or a rosary and a sacramental bowl, came forth the great Shakti of Brahma, the Brahmani. The Shakti of Mahadev rallied forth, mounted upon the bull of discipline, bearing the best trident of unity and wearing great serpents of energy as bracelets and adorned with a crescent moon on her forehead. The Shakti of Kartikeya, who is the form of consciousness, holding the weapon of energy, arrived there, carried by the best of peacocks to fight with Shumbha in the battle. Likewise, the Shakti of Vishnu, the consciousness who pervades all the world, arrived mounted on Garuda with the conch of vibrations, discus of revolving time, club of articulation, with a bow of determination, and the sword of worship in her hands with which to fight. Likewise, the incomparable Shakti of Hari, the most excellent desire of union, also assumed the form of a sacrificial boar as Varahi and presented herself. The Shakti of Bhagavan Narasimha, who is known as Narasimhi, took the same form and arrived. Many a constellation were cast down by the toning of her mane. Mounted upon Airavata, the Shakti of Indra arrived with a thunderbolt of illumination in her hands, the Vajrayudha. She had 1,000 eyes just as he. Now Bhagavan Shiva appeared, and he, surrounded by all the Shaktis of all the Devas, said to Devi, the destroyer of all the enemies, O Devi, may the Rakshasas now be quickly slain by you for my satisfaction. Then from the body of Devi manifested a terribly fearful and extremely terrifying Shakti known as She, who tears apart the demons who made noise in the manner of numerous jackals. Then this invincible goddess said to Bhagavan Shiva, who is the one with dark matted locks, Devi said to Bhagavan Shiva, Supreme Lord, please go to Shumbha and Nishumbha as my envoy. O Bhagavan Shiva, tell those two excessively arrogant Rakshasas, Shumbha and Nishumbha, and the other Rakshasas who have assembled there, ready to wage the battle. Please convey to them that if you want to live, then return to the lower worlds, the Patala Loka. Let the rule of the pure be the king of the three worlds, and let the Devas enjoy their portion of sacrifice, the sacrifice from the yajnas. But if in the strength of your ill-begotten arrogance you are desirous of battle, then come. My manifestations will satisfy themselves on your flesh. Because this great Devi sent Bhagavan Shiva himself, who is the pure absolute consciousness, as her envoy. She is known throughout the world as Shiva Duti. Then those great Rakshasas, upon hearing the words of the goddess from the very mouth of Bhagavan Shiva, the pure absolute consciousness, filled with anger, and went to where Katyayani stood. Then, filled with great pride and uncontrollable anger, they rained arrows, energies, spears, and other weapons upon the goddess. Devi playfully cut to pieces the arrows, the pikes, the energy weapons, and battle axes hurled at her. She attacked them with great arrows, and she released these arrows with the twang of her bowstring, and then cut all their weapons into pieces. Then Mahakali, the remover of darkness and ignorance, went in front of these enemies, and striking with her pike, began to rip open the Rakshasas. With the missiles of Shiva, she reduced them to powder on that battlefield roaming about. The missiles of Mother Kali are said to be missiles of consciousness because they remove the ignorance and the darkness. Now Brahmani, the great Shakti of Brahma, sprinkled water from her Kamandala, the bowl of salvation, on these groups of Rakshasas, and on whomever the water fell, these Rakshasas' vitality and valor were destroyed. Maheshwari with her trident, Vaishnavi with her discus, and the energy of Kartikeya battled with the Rakshasas in fierce rage. Indrani, the Shakti of Indra, struck with her thunderbolt, killing hundreds of Daityas and Danavas, who fell to the ground, releasing torrents of blood. This mighty Shakti, Varahi, killed others with the blows of her snout, and many chests she ripped apart with the tips of her tusk, and many Rakshasas fell to their death from the blows of her discus. Then the great Shakti, Narasimhi, ripped many great Rakshasas with her claws and consumed them. She rode about the battlefield and filled the sky with her roar. Many of the Rakshasas fell to the ground, struck by the furious laughter of Shivaduti, and Kali gobbled them up. Seeing the multitude of mothers of this universe pulverizing such great Rakshasas in so many ways, the army of Rakshasas began to run for their lives. Seeing the persecuted Rakshasas fleeing from these Shaktis, from these great Shaktis, and from these mothers, Raktabeej, the great cruel Rakshasa of copious strength, came forth to fight in excessive rage. Now this Raktabeej had a siddhi. When a drop of blood from his body touched the ground, another Rakshasa equally strong would be born in that very place. Then this great Rakshasa, Raktabeej, with a club in his hand, entered into a duel with the Indrani, the Shakti of Indra. Then she hit him with a thunderbolt. Here, Raktabija is said to be the seed of all desires in all the beings. Just as the desires cannot be controlled and they keep multiplying, just like Raktabija who keeps multiplying himself. Now this Raktabija, wounded by the thunderbolt, blood gushed forth from his body, and from it rose many valiant soldiers with the very same form. They were in multitudes. For as many drops of blood that poured forth from the wounds of Raktabija, just so many warriors were born, and all equally valiant, equally strong, and equally mighty. Those men born of the blood of Raktabija began a violent battle with the multitude of mothers, hurling extremely fearful weapons. When Raktabija was wounded on the head by a blow from the thunderbolt from Indrani, and blood began to pour forth, then from it thousands of warriors were born. Then Shivaduti, who pervades the whole world, struck the Raktabija with her discus. Then Indrani, the Shakti of Indra, she smote this Rakshasa with her club. When this Rakshasa, Raktabija, was wounded by the discus of Shivaduti, the mother of all, the entire gross world was pervaded by his manifestations. These manifestations which were born by the thousands from the blood that poured forth from him. Then Kaumari and Varahi and Maheshwari started destroying the armies. Now, filled with great rage, that great Rakshasa, Raktabija, started striking with his club at all the Shaktis of Mother, at all these universal Shaktis of this one Adi Shakti. Now, wounded by these energies, the blood fell in torrents to the earth, and certainly there were uncountable Rakshasas born from it. In this way, these Asuras, born of the seed of desire, pervaded the entire perceivable universe, and the gods became extremely terrified. Then Devi, seeing the dejection and the apprehension of the gods, she promptly told Mother Kali, the remover of darkness, "O Chamunda, widen your mouth further." And this very wide mouth of yours quickly consumed the drops of blood produced by the blows of my weapons. Quickly consume all these Raktabijas who are born from that blood. O Chamunda, keep roaming about in the battlefield, consuming all of the great Rakshasas born of that blood of Raktabija. Thus, this Raktabija, with his blood dried up, will meet his destruction. O Chamunda, when you will consume all these Rakshasas, then new Raktabijas will not be born. Having spoken thus to the Mother Kali, the remover of darkness, the remover of all ignorance, then the great Devi, who tears apart all the Rakshasas, struck Raktabija with her pike. Here, Raktabija is also symbolic of all the desires and of all the thoughts. So, when Raktabija is dried up, then new thoughts will not be born and new desires will not spring up. Now, Mother Kali, the remover of darkness and the ignorance, took his blood in her mouth. Then Raktabija struck Devi with his club. But that blow of the club did not cause Mother Kali even the slightest pain. But much blood flowed from the wounded body of Raktabija. But whatever blood fell was instantly taken up by Chamunda, the other name for Mother Kali. As many great Rakshasas as were born from that blood in the mouth, she quickly consumed them and she also drank the blood. Then Devi fought with Raktabija with her pike, thunderbolt, bow, sword and spear. Raktabija was mortally wounded by Chamundi by her weapons, and also she quickly drank the blood that fell off him. Now Raktabija was mortally wounded by those great assemblage of weapons, and he also ran out of all of his blood, and being bereft of blood, the great Rakshasa fell to the ground, and the gods experienced boundless joy and celebrated. The multitude of the mothers, the multitude of these great Shaktis, delighted from the demise of Raktabija, danced and sang with joy. And so here comes the end of the 8th chapter, Well-being to all. And this is the 8th chapter named Raktabeej vadha from Devi Mahatmyam in Savarnika Manvantara in Markandeya Purana. We will continue with chapter 9 tomorrow. Jai Gurudev, Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu.
ऋषिरुवाच आज्ञप्तास्ते ततो दैत्याश्चण्डमुण्डपुरोगमाः चतुरङ्गबलोपेता ययुरभ्युद्यतायुधाः ददृशुस्ते ततो देवीमीशत्थातां व्यवस्थिताम् सिंहस्योपरि शैलेन्द्रशृङ्गे महति काञ्चने ते दृष्ट्वा तां समादातुमुद्यमं चक्रुरुद्यताः आकृष्टचापासिधरास्तथान्ये तत्समीपगाः ततः कोपञ्चकारोच्चैरम्बिकादानरीं प्रति कोपेन चास्यावदनं मषीवर्णमभूत्तदा भ्रुकुटे कुटिलात्तस्या ललाटफलकाद्रुतम् काले करालमदना विनिष्क्रान्तादिपाशिनी विचित्रखड्वाङ्गधरा नरमाला विभूषणा द्वीपि चर्मपरिधाना शुष्कमांसादिभैरवा अतिविस्तारवदना जिह्वाललनभीषणा निमग्ना रक्तनयना नादापूरितदिङ्मुखा सा वेगेनाभिपतिता घातयन्ते महासुरान् सैन्ये तत्र सुरारीणामभक्षयत तत्पदम् पार्श्वे एकम् जग्राहकेशेषु ग्रीवायामथ चापरम् पादेनाक्रम्य देवान्यपुरसान्यमपोथयत् ते मुक्तानि च शस्त्राणि महास्त्राणि तथासुरैः मुखेन जग्राहरुषादशनैर्मथितान्यपि बलिनाम् तद्बलम् सर्वासुराणाम् दुरात्मनाम् ममर्तापक्षयज्ञान्यानन्याश्चाताडयत्तदा असिना निहता केचित् केचित् खट्वाङ्गताडिताः जग्मुर्विनाशमसुरादन्ताग्राभिहतास्तथा क्षणेन तद्बलम् सर्वमसुराणाम् निवापितम् दृष्ट्वा चण्डोऽभिरुद्रामाताम् कालीमतिभीषणाम् शरवर्षेर्महाभीमेर्भीमाक्षीन्ताम् महासुरः छादयामास चक्रैश्च गृण्डः क्षिप्तैः सहस्रशः तानि चक्राण्यनेकानि विषमानानि तन्मुखम् बहुर्यथार्कबिम्बानि सुबहोनि खनोदरम् ततो जहासातिरुषा भीमम् भैरवनादिनी काले करालवदना दुर्दर्शदशनोज्ज्वला उत्थाय च महासिंहम् देवी चण्डमधावता गृहीत्वा चास्य केशेषु शिरस्तेनासिनाक्षिणद अथ मुण्डोऽभ्यधावत्ताम् दृष्ट्वा चण्डम् निपातितम् तमप्यपातयद्भूमौ सा खड्गाभिहतम् वृषा हतशेषम् ततः सैन्यम् दृष्ट्वा चण्डम् निपातितम् मुण्डम् च सुमहावीर्यम् दिशो भेजे भयातुरम् शिरश्चण्डस्य काली च गृहीत्वा मुण्डमेव च प्राह प्रचण्डाट्टहासमिश्रमभ्येत्य चण्डिकाम् मया तवात्रोपहृतौ चण्डमुण्डौ महापशो युद्धयज्ञे स्वयम् शुम्भम् निशुम्भम् च हनिष्यति ऋषिरुवाच तावानीतो ततो दृष्ट्वा चण्डमुण्डो ऋषिरुवाच पञ्चामण्डलं